In number one, they gave you an equation to solve, or in this case, they didn't actually have you solve it. Emily wrote this as her first equation, and then this as her next step. So what she actually had done here is she added 9 and added 9 to both sides to get plus 16. Obviously, this adds to 0, or as we say, cancels. It looks like addition property of equality. This is when, any of these property of equalities is whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Officials in a town use a function C to analyze traffic patterns. N is the number of vehicles. Okay, this is just a funky notation, and all they're really asking you to do is which of the following sets is the set of counting numbers. The only way to count the number of cars in traffic is by saying 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I suppose you do have to be careful because 0 still is an amount of cars, and counting numbers does not include 0. That would be whole numbers. Okay, so be careful. 0 can still be used because if you were observing cars and there were no cars, you would report 0. So basically, you can't report negative cars, you can't report half cars. Choice number 4. Number 3, they want you to subtract two trinomials. I have it written down here because they're saying A is this and B is this, then find A minus B. I have A minus B. Now remember, when you're subtracting a trinomial or a binomial, any polynomial, you have to take into account this negative, this minus sign. So we say that we're going to distribute a negative 1. So I get plus 2x squared plus 6x minus 7. Okay, thing to remember is that anytime there's a minus, just change all of these signs. Now we combine like terms, 5x squared plus 11x minus 13. Choice 2. And number 4, they're asking you which one likes a given set of, which one looks like a solution. First of all, this one's not in standard form. I have to subtract x to the other side, and I get this. Now, remember that with a system of inequalities, if you have a greater than symbol, you're going to have a dotted line. So our choices are limited to choice 2 and 4. Okay, for this one, y is less than or equal to 3x minus 2. This line is 3x minus 2. Well, which of these two is shaded underneath? Choice number 2. Number 5, which value of x satisfies this equation? What I would do is I would change these to decimals. So if you're going to be changing to decimal on your own, okay, you must round to 4 decimal places. If you round any more, it's excessive, and if you round any less, it can really affect your answer. So 4 decimal places is what you want to do. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to distribute. And then I'm just going to solve this as a normal equation. (19.2501) divided by 2.333. I get 8.25, choice number 1. Now remember, I get the decimal equivalent just by performing the division. 7 divided by 3, I get 2.33. Number 6, anytime you see the growth of money and you see this phrase compounded annually, it's usually going to be exponential growth. Okay, usually because money in bank accounts grow at an exponential rate, not a linear rate. If this were linear, you see how it goes from 0 to 380 and then 10 to 562? Well, the difference between these two would have been about 180, and this was 10. So the difference between these two is 10. Well, what's the difference between 560 and 832? It's 272. For it to be linear, it has to be the same difference between all of these. Okay. Also, I know that that as my years go up, the money goes up. So we can eliminate 1 and 3 because decay and negative means going down. Okay. So it's not 2 either. Choice 4. For the corrections, simply write what I tell you to write here.